Peace you desire. Prepare for war.
We're playing against Adam Cantalis, who is a very awesome streamer, and I believe he might be playing his Fire Medic deck. I'm not sure exactly what's in it, and he could have changed some things, but this will surely be a fun matchup, and he's a very good player. He did make Day 2 of EU Challenger. So what we want to do is, we don't have a Trebuchet. We kind of want to get a Trebuchet, but we're not too worried about that. Yes. The thing is, do we mulligan away the Medic? I think because we have Nanoke, we can mulligan away the Medic for blacklist value. And we don't necessarily want to have too many Medics in round 1. We don't necessarily want to have a Medic in round 1, because this Morvran Vora's deck doesn't actually run that much removal. I'm not even sure if they run an Alzes, since this is like the Manticore Venom meta with all the Henselts running around. That's being chosen a lot more over the Alzes Thunder, which used to be a staple. And of course, if he has an Alzes Thunder, he is probably going to use it on this Lubbocken. And if he does have the other answer to it, which is Orcs, you know what we have? We have a Decoy. And given... this is actually an interesting question. Do we want to decoy the Lubbocken? Because if he has an Alzes Thunder, or if he can find it, decoying the Lubbocken gives us extremely little value. However, I think we do need to contest this round, and because we don't have Trebuchets at present, we can get a Trebuchet in one way, which is he plays his Spy, kills it, and then we resurrect it with Nanoke, and we find a Treb from the top of our deck. But I think, because we don't have any now, we should probably contest this round and decoy the Lubbocken and hopefully get a lot of value from it. The lack of Trebs hurts, but we're still going to be able to send our deck of Ballistas, Blue Stripe Scouts with all these Reavers, and that means we're going to draw our Trebs and our Field Medics, which are our 2 best bronzes in the later rounds, and that's going to be all cool. So, he must be really worried about this Lubbocken. Either that, or he didn't have any emissaries in hand to play. And emissaries are, like, extremely important. So, we have an interesting option here. So, King of Vegas currently hits Priscilla. And if we have a look at our deck, Priscilla hitting Cyprian wouldn't be very good right now. Priscilla hitting Treb is great. Priscilla hitting Field Medic for an emissary is great, because then we can get a Treb, is essentially like a Medic into a Treb, -2 points. Blue Stripes is fine, Ballista is fine, Manticore Venom is fine, First Light is the same as the other options, so we're going to go for the King of Vegas. Additionally, if he didn't have an emissary in his hand, if that's why he played it from the top of his deck with the later ability, it means that if we deny him the emissary, we might be able to stop his medics, and as this is the Fire Medic deck, I'm going to assume medics are an important part of his game plan. To be honest, didn't really watch his Challenger gameplay with that deck. I know he went very far, and I know he did very well, but I was playing the Challenger myself, and I had too much stuff to worry about. So, another thing about this round is that we have a lot of options now that we've hit our Trebuchet. We can make it go long with Reaver Scouts. We already have the Lubbocken going. it's going to be very hard for him to contest this round. This also means we essentially like turn off his resilience. We can make this round go long. He puts resiliences to the next round. We don't actually care because we win. And then we play Ciri, and everything's fine. Ooh, sir. By resurrecting the Emissary, we've made him play extremely suboptimally. He's reactivating the car here, and only refreshing 1 or 2 cards at the top of his deck, which he hasn't seen before. Although, I guess the Emissary could have refreshed some bronzes off the top of his deck too, so ignore that point. But this means that his hand is very awkward. He could have a couple of Medics, another Nausicaa, maybe Emperor, nothing too good, maybe his Golds, maybe he's running a Renew. But yes, he can't have anything too amazing in his hand, and he's refreshing his leader ability to try to maybe start a chain again. And we're gonna see if we can deny it, maybe. Maybe we'll Nenekate it out and deny his Medics, because like at this pace he had to start. So if he just passes, we win the round on even cards. We've got our Lubberkin going, we've got our 2 Trebs, we're gaining 5 points a round. We're playing like half a bronze a round for free, which is crazy if you think about it. And he's using his leader ability to get bronzes. So he is getting like the opposite of our value. And we still have a lot of powerful plays. We have the Nenneke and the Yennefer, which we can take into round 3. We do have these Ballistas, Blue Stride Scout, Reaver Scout, which we do want to spend earlier. They're not that amazing. So he played a Cantarella. And what does this mean? Can he win with something like a Treason? So Treason is a 26-point play. So if he takes this, he doesn't win with the Treason. Because the difference right now is 22 points, and we have a 5-point gain each round. Also, once again, we know his hand is awkward. We know he doesn't have a lot of good plays. He can't win with Tibor, because if we pass, Tibor's turned off. So I think we're gonna pass here. I think he might be forced to pass here, or if he isn't, he's forced to go 2 cards down, and he's only got a maximum of 1 card advantage slot left in his deck if he's running Ciri. And like even then, not all of these Nilfgaard decks run Ciri. And with this play, we're turning off a possible Treason later in the round, unless he uses it here, and we're turning off a lot of his ability to extend the second round even if he wins. Since after going 2 cards down, you don't really want to extend the round. Ah, perfect, we've won. We've won the first round and we have Ciri in hand, like what's the play here for our opponent? Of course, I do believe we're favored in this matchup, by virtue of me believing we're favored in almost every matchup. But nevertheless, this feels nice. So we'll start off with a Ciri. Like we might. Some might say we don't want to review all our cards at once, or like how we're going to play this round. This reveals that we're gonna get a card advantage, play it around slowly, but it's still a huge tempo play, and it allows us to have more options to pass. Because if we play something else and then we want to pass, we can't, because we need to play our Ciri first. Hello, welcome to Cow Carcass land. Unfortunately, Ballistas can't really kill cow carcasses. We don't actually care that much. Also, we of course have the option of Nenneking a Cantarella, which is huge. So I think we just want to take this slow, play a Ballista. We want to like get rid of these bronzes, since we know we're going to be at least 1 card up, if not more. Treason, whatever. It's a lot of points, but in this round, since we won the first round, points don't really matter. So, we are fine with this cow carcass killing our roach. We can't really do anything about it. We don't have anything to kill the cow carcass. But this essentially renders his Rod Tosser a 6+3 point play. And 9 for a bronze is not that bad, so we're fine with this. And we're just gonna continue spending our bronzes. And slowing down the game and making sure we have the Guthgars in the last round, and he doesn't. Now, one thing that could be worrying is the threat of a Tabor in the last round. But we're gonna thin a Ballista from our deck, and at that point we're gonna have 2 field medics in the Trebuchet, so we have a 2/3 chance of a field medic, which more than makes up the 10-point premium that's on the Tabor, compared to, like, the baseline of gold cards, which is, I guess, standard Geralt. He's 22, Geralt is 12, and I feel Medic usually gets us more than 10 points. Either by resurrecting a Ballista for 12, or a Blue Stripe Scout for something exactly the same amount of points.
A shame I have no time.
Or with Rainforest Trap, which is 10+1 for every turn left in the game. Okay, more thinning for him, which is good for him, but we are also going to be thinning.
You one of us or not?
So the decision here is to hit. I think I want to hit Warcam. I don't want to hit the Rod Tossers, at least the 6 strength Rod Tosser, in case he decoys it. And gets an extra 3 points of value from that. Oh, interesting. Combat Engineers are annoying. If he has another one, it's a little bit rough for us. But only a little bit. Still, 10 points value into the next round is not that much, and we can decrease it with ballistas. So here we're gonna play... So we have the option of playing Nenneke into Priscilla, and hopefully getting something like a First Light or to thin our deck, or a Manticore Venom for lots of points. And also that would block the Cow Carcass. Or we can play the Spy, which allows us 2 chances of drawing shiny, which I think is a great idea.
I shall be your eyes, my lord.
Hey, who needs 2 chances of drawing shiny when you get it off the top? This does give him another Combat Engineer target, but that deck doesn't usually run too many of those. That deck does run Decoy, which should be his last silver, since he's played 5 already. But once again, like, these resilience point values, they're like comparable to like what monsters can do. And it's honestly not that much. And we're going to be going into the round not 1 card, but 2 cards ahead of him, because Ciri comes back, and he's currently 1 card behind us. So he keeps playing these Rod Tossers. I don't know why there's a Carcass on the melee row. I guess he's expecting field medics. Fortunately for me, I don't have any. Field medics are not exactly my specialty. Yeah, he's right about not liking the look of this. I mean, is there anything we can do? To get the Ciri back, and do we even want to? So we don't have a field medic. And the only thing... The only other thing that can go in our front row is like a Roach. And Cyprian kill the opposing non-Goldianus. Yennefer can kill that Cow Carcass. And it's essentially like a break-even in terms of points. Yeah, pretty much. So I think I'm actually gonna do that. Yeah, Yennefer is a huge point swing in the last round, but we already have Shani, so I think we're fine on that account. This also makes it so that if he keeps going for a bunch of resilience, we just gained a lot of tempo. And while Ciri is only a 6-point play, it means that we get to play so much later than him, which will hopefully give us an advantage. Let's move this down a little bit, so his deck is large and prominent. So we want to keep going until ideally we have just Shani in hand. And because that's gonna beat whatever card he draws, like, almost guaranteed. Even though Nilfgaard does have 2 draws, so they're gonna have a couple of options, and trap, whatever. We're just gonna... We can still easily win this round. Like... But can we get something with this? We can't get something with the Reaver Scout, so it's probably just better to copy a Ballista or something along those lines. This does set us up for a Geralt Igni, but once again, we don't really care about Geralt Igni.
Crush those vermin!
Like, points don't matter if we have to go into the last round on these 2 cards instead of just this one. Well, we're fine with that. And conveniently, he has the Trebuchet. Screwed up his own Geralt Igni, if he's running it, of course. Geralt Igni is not running every deck, and you only really have one flex gold slot in Nilfgaard, because Vilgefortz, Kihir, and Tibor are just so stupidly powerful. At least compared to the other legendaries. Like, the main problem with Nilfgaard right now is not the lack of power in the golds and bronzes. It's actually the silvers. Like, the silvers are all very close to 10 points. Like, if you've noticed, like, Outbreak is like a 6, Wiz is like an 8. Orcs, where's Orcs? Orcs is like an 8 too. And that means, like, their abilities are not very swinging. Because those abilities only cost 1 or 2 points of power. Yeah, we can play our last card and force him to play his last card. Because... Shani is just great. Like, she is gonna win... I don't even have to look in my graveyard to see that she's gonna win the round. And also, I kind of remember that I have, like, a Priscilla and the King of Beggars in there. And, like, anything they pull is, like, amazing. And even though we only have bronzes left in our deck, we're fine. We're gonna have a Shani and a Ciri to his 1 card out of 3. Now this is probably a gold card, and there's 2 gold cards in here. This is probably a Tibor. Can I beat a Tibor? Let's see. So, I Shani into Priscilla. Or better yet, Shani into King of Beggars. So that's 4 plus 5, so that's 9. And then I Field Medic. So that's 13. And Field Medic pulls... at least... it could pull Emissary, which would not be the best. So he passes here. He knows that if my card is good, he can't actually win the last round.
Severed limbs, blood, and guts.
Turns out, my card is good, so I get to win here. Of course, he got a little bit unlucky. He didn't draw 2 of his golds, but that happened because he had to use his hero power on, like, a bronze and the Cantarella very early in the game. And that was because he had an awkward starting hand, and that's because he runs 3 medics, which I'm never sure about in Nilfgaard. Like, I always want to run 2, especially if you run combat engineers too, just so you don't have too many bad hits of your emissaries. And too many dead cards in hand to start the first round. So yes, another win, not a usual Adam matchup, and of course, man props to Adam Cantel. So he actually changed his name to Adam Nadrak. So yes, Adam Nadrak, who is trying out new things and making it. I've got Nilfgaard statistics on my deck tracker. So yeah, good game.